Imagine this for a second. You've eaten recently. You're not shaky, you're not lightheaded, your stomach isn't growling. But out of nowhere, your brain goes, I need chocolate. Only spicy noodles will fix this. Where are the chips? It feels weird, right? You're not starving, but you're drawn to one very specific thing. What if that craving isn't about being greedy or having no self-control? What if it's an emotion trying to get your attention? In this video, we're going to unpack what your cravings might be saying about how you feel, how stress can completely flip your appetite, and what to do when food slowly becomes your main coping skill. Before we dive in, a quick note. This isn't a diagnostic tool, and it's definitely not here to judge you. We're talking about patterns, not rigid rules. If you're living with an eating disorder or your relationship with food feels really painful and overwhelming, some parts of this might hit close to home. It's okay to pause, skip, or watch with someone you trust. And if you recognize yourself a lot in what we're talking about, reaching out to a therapist, doctor, or counselor is always a strong and brave step. All right, let's look at what's actually happening when a craving shows up. There are two kinds of hungry that often get mixed. Your body being hungry and your emotions being hungry. Physical hunger grows gradually. Your body whispers first, then speaks louder. I could eat. My stomach's getting empty. I'm low on energy. Emotional hunger often feels different. It's sudden. It's very specific. It usually shows up around certain situations, places, people, or feelings. Maybe you notice. You want something sweet every time you come home from a stressful day. You crave something salty and crunchy the second you open your laptop to work. Or you suddenly need spicy food when you're bored, lonely, or annoyed. Your brain isn't evil. It's just efficient. It has learned, last time we were stressed and ate that thing, we felt better for a moment. Let's do that again. When you eat something you enjoy, your brain can release chemicals linked to reward, comfort, and relief. That little wave of, finally is real. For a few minutes, the noise in your head turns down. The problem is still there, but it feels farther away. Eating to soothe yourself is not a moral failure. It's one of the oldest coping strategies out there. The problem starts when it becomes the only way you know how to calm down, distract yourself, or feel okay. And here's where it gets interesting. People don't all react to stress the same way. Some people eat more when life gets heavy. Others feel like they can't eat at all. If you're in the first group, you might notice that stress makes you hunt for snacks, seconds, or something intense and comforting. Food becomes a way to ground yourself, to feel something familiar when everything else is chaotic. If you're in the second group, stress might kill your appetite completely. You might feel numb, wired, or so overwhelmed that food just doesn't register. Your body goes into a kind of survival mode where emotions take over and hunger signals get pushed to the background. Neither reaction makes you a better or worse person. Both are your nervous system saying, I'm under pressure, I'm trying to cope the way I know how. So when you look at your cravings or the absence of them, it's less about what's wrong with me and more about what is my body and mind trying to handle right now. Now let's zoom in on the cravings themselves. Think about your usual go-to. Is it mostly sweet, salty, and crunchy, fiery and spicy, or a heavy comfort meal? Sweet foods, chocolate, desserts, sugary drinks often show up when you feel drained or unappreciated. That hit of sweetness can feel like someone finally saying, you did okay today. If you always want sugar after a rough day, your craving might be asking for kindness and rest as much as for food. Salty, crunchy snacks like chips or fries tend to appear when you're stressed, overstimulated, or bored. The loud crunch and strong flavor cut through mental noise for a moment. Sometimes it's not just about salt, it's your brain begging for a pause or a change of pace. Spicy food cranks the dial up. When life feels flat, numb, or stuck, heat can feel exciting and alive. If you want spice most when everything else feels dull, that craving might be your way of saying, I need intensity, movement, or something different. Comfort meals, noodles, rice dishes, stews, biryani, curry, burgers, often carry memories of home and safety. Reaching for them can be less about an empty stomach and more about wanting warmth, stability, or a sense of belonging. These are not strict rules or personality labels, just gentle starting points to ask, what could this be about for me? So, what do you do with a craving once you notice it? Try a tiny 3-step pause the next time it hits. First, pause for 10 seconds and breathe. The food isn't going anywhere. Second, quietly ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? You don't need a perfect answer. 1 or 2 words is enough. Third, choose on purpose. Maybe you still eat the thing, and that's completely okay. But add one small act of care that isn't food: a glass of water, stretching, stepping outside, texting someone, or writing one honest sentence about how you feel. You're not banning food. You're giving yourself more than one way to cope. If your eating feels out of control, if you're often ashamed after eating, or if stress makes you stop eating altogether, that's usually a sign you deserve more help than a video can give. Talking to a trusted person or a professional is not overreacting. It's choosing support. To finish, think of your last big craving. What were you reaching for on your plate? And what do you think your heart was reaching for underneath? Your cravings don't prove you're weak. They prove you're human. And you can meet them with curiosity instead of shame.